How's everybody doing? As you can see, we're back, and I'm now a grandfather, so FYI. And I'm going to babysit my grandbaby tonight, so I'm excited about that. But let's get to talking about crypto because it is heating up a little bit. I just feel like we got one more big dip coming, but we'll see. I've got a nice little bag waiting to make that purchase. Hopefully we get that one more dip. In any case, they're still working through that Clarity Act, but the banks are screwing around. There's a video of Jamie Dimon floating around where he's trying to say something dumb like, they got to follow these rules, the banks do, and if crypto wants to be able to offer rewards, then why don't they just become a bank? Well, guess what? A lot of them are becoming a bank. Kraken just became the first crypto bank. And one of the reasons for that, because you might ask yourself, why did they become one and get the Fed master account? Excuse me, they got the Fed master account approved, and Ripple hasn't. Well, Kraken put in that application much earlier than Ripple did, like a year or so, maybe even longer. And they're an exchange. Ripple, on the other hand, it got the full bank authorization, and it's a full financial services firm. It's got the whole stack. So, and I'll show you a video on that after this one so you can kind of see what they're doing. But banks want to go back and relitigate the Genius Act while they're trying to put together the Clarity Act, and they're holding the Clarity Act hostage. But you know what? That Genius Act thing's already been litigated. It's done. It's over, baby. Let's move forward. So they're trying to claim that these crypto companies should become banks because they could abide by the same rules. Well, guess what? The crypto companies, at least especially the ones who issue stable coins, they got much stiffer rules because they have to back every stable coin they lend out or that they issue one-to-one with the US dollar with either cash or cash equivalents. I think last time I checked, banks still have a zero reserve policy right now. It's not being imposed on them. It used to be a 10% reserve. It's like if you had $100 on the balance sheet, you had to have 10% of it in cash, right? If there's $1,000, you'd have to have about $100 in cash to back it. I think right now it's at zero. Whereas crypto companies who issue stable coins, they gotta have it one-to-one to back every single one of those issued stable coins. The other thing is what banks really don't want is they don't want to lose that ridiculous privilege where if you give them $100, they can lend out 1,000. They can charge 14% on that 1,000 they lend out, and they're only going to pay you maybe 2-3% on your 100. It's ridiculous, man. They get to print money out of thin air, and they don't want to give that up, and they don't want these other guys to offer it too, because what's going to happen is these crypto companies, to entice you to come do business with them, are going to offer you more interest, more money on your money. And President Trump talks about that here. He put out a tweet, I think it was yesterday, or Truth, I suppose. He says the Genius Act is being threatened and undermined by the banks, and that is unacceptable. We are not going to allow it. The U.S. needs to get market structure done ASAP. Americans should earn more money on their money, and that's what it comes down to, guys. The banks are hitting record profits, and we are not going to allow them to undermine our powerful crypto agenda that will end up going to China and other countries if we don't get the Clarity Act taken care of. The Genius Act was the USA's first big step to make the United States the crypto capital of the world, and getting the Clarity Act done is the next step to finish the job, and most importantly, keep this big and powerful industry in our country. The banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act or hold the Clarity Act hostage. They need to make a good deal with the crypto industry because that's what's in the best interest of the American people and really the citizens of the world. This industry cannot be taken from the people of America when it is so close to becoming truly successful. Thank you for attention to this matter, DJT. And so that's what he goes on to say, because that's exactly what's going on. They're playing games. Jamie Dimon, he's the guy who banked Epstein, right? He also banked the very first crypto company or crypto exchange, Mt. Gox. He also wanted to kill crypto in concert with Liz Warren, if you remember. and that's during the Gary Gensler and the phony Biden administration. So shady characters, baby. And I could go back. I mean, J.P. Morgan with Jamie Dimon, they've been slapped on the hand for manipulating the gold and silver markets countless times. Go back and look at that. So that's not where you want to get your advice from or your information from. Jamie Dimon is not a very honest individual from my point of view, and with good reason. So let's go on and focus on what the talk is about the Genius Act and the Clarity Act. So here's a post from Eric Trump, and I really like this. I don't think he's a super crypto expert, but he makes a very good point here. And let's read this together. It says, the big banks, the very institutions that have held a monopoly and screwed their customers for years, offering near zero yields on retail money market accounts while crushing low balance accounts with exorbitant fees, are now doing everything they can to block the crypto industry from offering real benefits, perks, and rewards on their platforms. They are the greatest hypocrites and are in mass panic, given that they know that they are losing the digital finance race. And it's true. What's going to happen is they're going to be left behind, so they're either going to adopt or they're going to buy their competition. Now, keep in mind, the Trumps were debanked, especially through I think it was through President Trump's first term, and they were demonized a lot during those awful Obama years also. So they know a thing or two about what's going on here, but they're not the only ones. A lot of Americans were debanked or had their banking scrutinized or limited, or in some cases they wouldn't even be allowed to set up a checking account. I mean, so a lot of people had to go to alternatives. Luckily, we do have alternatives. Now, Brad Garlinghouse also pitches in, and he says, an extremely pointed message from POTUS. To those who are dragging their feet on the Clarity Act, this is and always has been about what's in the best interest of the American people. Now, I like what Brad has to say, but he's a businessman and he wants to make money too. So I'm not going to be naive and tell you guys, oh yeah, Ripple's looking out for my best interest. Hell no. They have a good business model. They have a great product, and they want they want this show on the road now, baby. They want this thing to go. I mean, come on, I'm not foolish here. They all want to make money, but the banks, I think they've been screwing us long enough already, right? For instance, I think on money market accounts also, they give you almost nothing on those things. Savings accounts, it's almost nothing, and very little access. So, of course, the banks don't want any competition. So the banks are basically flailing. They're drowning in the minutia here. They're not going to win this thing. It's not going to happen. President Trump is right. If we don't get this thing squared away, this golden opportunity for all of us, especially in the United States for sure, will be lost, and he's not about losing. You already know that. He's not about losing, so that's not going to happen. So I would give Jamie Dimon the same advice I would have given the Ayatollah before he bit the big one, is, you know what? Take what you can get now, or you might end up with not very much. So do it, because that's what Trump is. He'll give you that opportunity, and if you don't take it, you're going to end up far worse off than if you would have played ball. And it's not just him, all the banks, the banking industry as a whole. I think we've had enough of exorbitant, like even if you bounce a check, I think the fees were ridiculous. They were like $35 for some people, maybe more, I don't know. Haven't bounced a check myself in, 30, 40 years. I think it's the last time I ever bounced a check. I don't even write those anymore. But we all need checking accounts to make payments. And that's the other thing, I think you're going to get better interest on features similar to a checking account from crypto companies, because if you want to set up a payment, you can set up automatic payments digitally without having to have a checkbook, right? If you have your light bill or your gas bill or whatever, what have you, using these digital payment systems is going to be much faster, and it's going to be real-time settlement. And if you let your money just sit there in one of these platforms, chances are pretty good to win your business. They're going to pay you quite a bit more, and that helps all of us, right? So let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. I'm going to hang out with my grandson tonight. Let me know what you're doing. We'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, adios, amigos.